Thank you for joining me, and if you haven't met me before, my name is Jonathan and I'm the vicar at St Gabriel's Church, which is a Church of England church in Newcastle in the northeast of England. At this time when we're separated from each other, and particularly when we can't meet to worship together, I thought it might be good to put together a series of videos for you to watch and for us to focus a little bit on our prayer time and spirituality. It feels particularly difficult to me that we're not able to meet for the Eucharist, and so this very first clip that I'm going to lead you through is on spiritual communion, but how we might be in communion with each other without physically receiving the bread and the wine. At this time when a lot of us are feeling quite stressed and anxious, it's a real challenge to discover if we can find God's peace amongst all this worry. Often in the Bible, Jesus greets his disciples when they're very frightened and says to them, "Peace be with you," the peace which passes all understanding. The challenge of finding that peace at this time is quite something, but I believe we can through God's grace. One of the things I feel very lucky to have learnt from a young person was to create a space at home where I could pray, even if I couldn't go to church. I invite you at this time, if you haven't already, to find a space in your home, wherever it may be, where you might be able to be quiet and at peace. It might help if you light a candle for a time of prayer like I'm going to do now, to remind you of God's presence, and that Jesus is a light that can never be extinguished. It can help to sit comfortably, to have your feet on the floor and your arms uncrossed. It might help also to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And to start with, you might take a couple of deep breaths in and out. You might ask God for the grace to know his peace and to enter into communion with him. I'm indebted to a Jesuit priest called Anthony de Mello. He was Indian, and he wrote a meditation on spiritual communion that I'd like to guide you through now. But one important thing about this will be that if and when God speaks to you through this meditation, feel free to go with whatever God is drawing you towards. And if that means just ignoring what I'm saying, then please feel free to do so. This is about where God is drawing you, not about what I am doing. It was the custom in the past for saints to practice what they called spiritual communion. Communion through desire. I invite you to do the same. I invite you to imagine the scene of the Last Supper as if you were present there yourself. In your imagination, to visualize the room itself, the people who were there, the noises, smells, temperature, the food, and Jesus himself, in whatever form you can imagine him. It may just be light or a presence, but maybe you can see a person too. I invite you to observe Jesus as he takes bread in his hands, blesses and distributes it. When you receive it from his hands, I wonder what you want this bread to be for you. Then Jesus speaks with us, his disciples. His words are an essential part of the eating of that bread. So I listen carefully. He first gives us a new command, to love one another as he has loved us. I pray that this bread will increase my capacity to love, and I think what love has come to mean for me and what place I give it in my life. If we eat this bread, this body that is broken, we shall necessarily share in the passion and death of Jesus. I hear him prophesy that we will be persecuted, even by our own. So I pray for the courage that sustained the martyrs and the strength to live and speak as he did. He makes a gift at this holy meal, peace. Not the peace of the world, he says, but his peace. I ponder on the meaning of those words, and I ask for that gift for me and for those I love. Then he makes us a promise. We will be in pain, he says, and the world will rejoice. But I shall come back to you, and your hearts will be filled with joy, and no one will be able to take that joy from you. I pray that through this bread that I have eaten, I shall forever experience the joy-giving presence of the risen Lord in all the ups and downs of life. I imagine scenes of the future where I shall need this presence, and I trust that he will be there. He then begins to pray for us. I listen and I make his prayer my own. He prays that we will all be one, as he and his Father are one, that this will be the sign by which the world will know that he has come from God. I pray that this bread will be a force for unity in every group where it is eaten. Jesus speaks long and late into the night. Supper is finally over. Now he takes a cup of wine. I listen to the words he utters over it. The cup is passed from hand to hand, and when it is my turn to drink, I pray that I shall be intoxicated and lose myself in love. Maybe you have some time now with Jesus to talk about this meal he's shared with you. You might conclude with a familiar prayer, like the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. May God's peace be with you. If you found this helpful, then I may well do another one. And I hope to broadcast some form of worship on Sunday, the 5th Sunday of Lent.